I think it's a very important message coming up from this symposium. Informed clinical trials. Yeah, very important.
And there's so much choice, and there's, it's scheduling, it's which drug. It's got to be that informed clinical trial, so we don't ask patients to take things where there isn't a good rationale and a good chance of a response for them.
There's a lot of promise in the DDR. Maybe more than one would expect, right? Everybody's talking about the kinases in the signal transduction pathways, in the tyrosine kinase receptors. Maybe the DDR is more important. Actually, when you think about it, most therapies that we use today in the clinic, the conventional chemotherapies, what they do is activate the DDR, and they are very successful.
Yeah. I suppose that the challenges have been illustrated in the updates we've had on the clinical data, that although the preclinical data, particularly when it's in cell lines, is very compelling, the scientific rationale is, the challenge has been then safely doing this in the clinic because of toxicity in normal tissues with all of the agents. The single agents, there is good data, they're much better tolerated, but then it needs the patient identification. Whereas as soon as you start combining the DDR agents and DNA damaging agents, and we've talked a lot about chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and the immune oncology drugs.
I completely agree. I think that goes back to maybe even a bigger challenge to the entire community of oncologists and cancer researchers, and that is how can we develop better preclinical models so that the clinical trials will eventually be more successful, a higher rate of them will translate into really doable treatments that we can deliver to the patients. Better preclinical models that are more predictive of what will happen in the clinic are something that we really urgently need in all areas of cancer research, not only the DDR.
I think the key thing that you're saying about that preclinical models is biomarker development as well, because that's what we need for patients to predict how do we give the right drug to the right patient at the right clinical trial. I mean, there's almost too much choice nowadays with all of the drugs that we've got, all of the potential combinations and scheduling, but what we need is to be able to do the good science and choose how we when we talk to patients, that we've got the best chance that that patient will get a response in a clinical trial.